if you're hitting a plateau in sim racing and you don't know what you need to do differently to improve upon some lap time or some sector time, there's only one solution, and that is telemetry. Now, I've been avoiding telemetry for a very long time because it's so complicated for me, especially the free apps with all the lines and whatever. I just don't understand nothing of it. But I partnered up with Coach Dave Academy, and they have this awesome tool with all like telemetry inside, but I really feel it's very easy to understand. The second time I'm opening it up, I'm using it and I'm making a video about it, explaining you, and that's how easy it is. And one little side note, if you want to try out this app, please use the link down below. I'm affiliate with them. I get a small fee if you try it out for 1 month. And if you don't like it, you can just like skip it. When you open up the Coach Dave Delta app, it says waiting for a session. So I will just jump in and let the app do its magic. What's now happening, the Delta app is basically recording everything. It's recording the tire temperatures, it's recording the tire pressures, it's basically analyzing everything that I'm doing. The braking, the steering input, my position on track, the brake trace, throttle trace, everything is there. Now, that's nothing new. I know there are a lot of apps that do this, but I am such a beginner as it comes to telemetry, and I even understand this. And when I go back to the pit, I get actually like knowledge from, oh, these are my mistakes. I can see, oh, here's my braking input. I will explain it later how it works. So I did some laps on Barcelona and they came up with some telemetry here. Temperatures, pressures, all that good stuff. Top speed during the lap, we used 13 liters in that stint. And now we're gonna look at some data. Now, we have the different laps. I want to compare this with somebody, and let's take this 143.4, which is my lap record now, by the way. I was practicing this a little bit, but how can I squeeze out a bit more and understand where I'm making the mistakes? So, first of all, I need to load a reference, get a pro, and Tariq Adam did a 43. So I'm like 4/10 of the pace of the fastest one with this setup, which like I could almost be a pro here, right? Comparing that to a BMW, let's do that. So if you want to check out the Delta and you want to know where you lose time, you should look at the Delta the most. And when you look at the Delta, maybe I can zoom this in a bit more even. So whenever you look at this app for the Delta, it seems that if you look at this screen right here, so I can zoom this in. I'll just look at the top one first. So in the first corner, you can see that in this display here on the top, that I am losing a lot of time in the first corner. Then afterwards, I'm gaining it back. Pretty much to the point where, like, and this is like the whole sector. You can see that small dot on the top right corner. I hope you can see it. But I'm basically back at square one. So I'm taking a completely different line. Now, if you want to make this, as for the braking input, you can see I'm holding down the brakes in the first corner a bit longer than the pro driver on Coach Dave Academy. But basically it's the same. It's also comforting to see that I am touching the brake here and the pro touches the brake here. The overall lap, the Delta is going up and down and up and down. That may be setup, that may be driving style, but what I want to focus on is this jump that goes up right here, like boom. Here I'm losing 3/10 in this section. So here we can improve upon. And if I am able to replicate the same kind of inputs as the pro driver, then I definitely think we have some time to gain in sector 3. So let's zoom in this area. All right, so let's have a look. So over here, I gained like 2-3 tenths, and this is basically this sector, which is the corner that's falling down. And when when you see this to go up, then you need to look in the inputs. And what I see here is that my braking input is like jumping. My coaching session that I had was warning me about this. I should trail brake better. So I should, in this corner, I should hit the brakes fully and gently release them, trail brake a bit more. So here I'm a little bit hesitant, 80%, then I touched again. So what's happening when you have this kind of braking trace? You're pushing the car down, you're releasing it, you get understeer, you're pushing it down again, you get more grip, and you get basically an unstable balance in the car at that moment, and that is making us 2-3 tenths slower. So we need to work on that on the braking zone before the chicane, the turn to the right. Now another cool feature, if I zoom it out, is the tire pressure. So if I look on the full lap and I go from beginning to the end, so you can see the dot here, I can see the pressures going up and down. And I can see, if I look on this graph, oh, and by the way, you can also see the shifting, which is interesting. So these are the PSIs from me and from the pro driver. So I'm gonna have to have a look. 92, 95. Yeah, interesting. So for some tracks, you maybe find that the pressures go way off. And if I just pull it to the left, to the right, I can see that my pressures are a bit on the low side, basically. So I can increase the pressures a little bit. So I will not bore you with all these laps that I did. I basically did like 3 stints. Now, the hardest thing to do is to like get the information you need to change your driving behavior and then actually change it. Yeah, it's very hard to change it. So over here I got the proper input, but then after this chicane I kind of throw it away. I somehow attack this corner wrong and I lose all the sweet juicy 3-4 tenths that I was searching for here, almost getting me into that 42 lap time. I completely throw it away in the last corner. So that's a little bit of a thing. I know what needs to happen, and I think that can be really useful. So let's look at telemetry again and explain a bit more. So now in this third stint, that like the third time I went out, I almost did the same lap time, but we can definitely see that we're just losing time in the third sector. So open this app, drive a couple of laps, go to the reference, load a pro driver that does a fast lap time, and look at these delta jumps, and wherever it jumps you lose time. So I don't really have an opinion about this first bump because I'm sacrificing the first corner and gaining it right back. Now maybe, I don't know, this is just driving style, but in the end of the sector I'm just losing like 4 tenths of a second. So there is basically the time. So you can see my inputs are completely different. Like I'm not fully committing on the brakes, but I'm also doing it way longer with the braking. And also with the throttle, I'm like on the throttle on and off, and the pro driver is really more smooth on the throttle, like going gently up. And that's also the case a little bit for this last chicane. So he's also playing with the throttle. So yeah, very useful for me. So I just know what to focus on now. Executing it is a different thing, but again, try it out. It's only like 11 euros or something a month. Try it for 1 month, see how it helps you. It definitely does help me, so